Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. History is story time. Did you know that the modern day capital of Kenya, Nairobi, was once swampland? Today, we are going to be exploring the various stages of Nairobi's growth, and at the end of the video, I have a surprise for you. So, let's begin. Now, before the British ever came to East Africa, the land known as Nairobi, or the place of cool waters, was inhabited mainly by the Maasai community. Now, the Maasai are a pastoralist community, so they move around a lot from one place to another, herding their cattle. You'll find as a result that many of the locations in East Africa are Maasai names. So, Nairobi was not an exception. Uh, it was made of swamps and vast fertile plains. So the Maasai really liked the area since their herds could get water. Now, the Iron Snake arrives. In the late 19th century, the British had arrived in East Africa and they wanted to start a new project. That was the Ugandan Railway. It was to go from the port city of Mombasa to the interior parts of Uganda. However, it was not just built to transport goods and people, it was also built so that the British could consolidate their hold and grip in the region. Now, in 1899, while building the railway, they came across this land that was very flat and had a lot of plains. And this, by the way, are the ideal conditions for a railway depot. As a result, they formed the railway depot there, and many of the workers who worked for the railway moved in with their families so that they could work more easily or commute easily from work to home. However, Nairobi was not a regular depot. Soon, people began coming in droves from the mostly Indian workers who were working on the railway to European settlers. Thus, the depot was growing. In 1905, the depot had grown to such an extent that the British gave it the title of the capital of British East Africa. And from now, the city began to grow at a rapid pace. The Indian laborers began coming in droves, and so are the European settlers. The African community, too, who wanted to look for job opportunities in the city, began to come, and as a result, the city of Nairobi began to grow, not just from a depot to a town and eventually to a city. However, the local communities, such as the Maasai, who had inhabited the land for centuries before the European settlers came, were, let's say, they were persecuted. And that is because when the European settlers arrived, they took vast tracts of land for themselves. This was because, as I said, Nairobi had vast fertile plains. So they took them and began farming on them. And they did not do it with the consent of the community who had lived there for a long time. These communities, such as the Kikuyu and Maasai, were pushed to the fringes of the city, where they were segregated, let's say, from the white settlers and from the Indian laborers. But despite this, Nairobi continued to grow. However, in the 1940s and 50s, the urge for independence was growing. Leaders such as Jomo Kenyatta and Kenyan African Union or KAU established their headquarters in Nairobi. This made Nairobi a battleground for independence. And eventually, their efforts paid off. In 1963, Kenya gained independence, and what had once been a swampland, Nairobi City, was now declared the capital of Kenya. Now, the modern day city of Nairobi is a city of contrasts, from towering skyscrapers to bustling markets to traffic jams to all sort of business that is being established in the city, Nairobi has continued to persevere through the ages, and up to today, it is one of the most important cities in Africa. However, there are still signs of the colonial presence that the British had come with. For example, the segregation had meant that white settlers took the best parts of the city for themselves, leaving the African population to take the worst of the city. And today, you can still see it. Areas such as Karen are taken by the elites, while areas such as Eastlands, well, we don't know yet. Now, I have a surprise for you guys. In 1902, when Nairobi was still a growing depot, the people or settlers were coming, and more people were coming into the depot. However, it probably grew too fast because the unsanitary conditions and the swampland, because swampland obviously has stagnant water, made it very easy for a plague to strike the city. And in 1902, that's exactly what happened. There was a bubonic plague that took place in the city, mainly affecting the African and Indian quarters of the city. Now, the city council feared this bubonic plague would spread to the rest of the city, and as a result, they burned Nairobi down. However, it was not just to deal with the plague, it was also to redesign the city and to enforce segregation. As a result, white settlers were given the best portions of land, while the African community were given the worst of it. Well, guys, that's the story of Nairobi, how it went from swampland to city. If you want to check out my other videos, please subscribe and like, and remember to share my videos so that we can grow our community together. It's been fun having you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Remember, it's just not history, it's our story. Bye!